A lot of people think hiring an attorney is super expensive and that they just can't afford it. In my last video where we discussed things to ask an attorney before hiring them, I briefly touched upon different types of fee agreements that you can use with an attorney. In this video, we're going to flesh out those different types of fee agreements, and I'm going to let you know some money-saving tips that you can use when negotiating your fee agreement with your attorney. My name is Nathan Saunders, and this is The Legal Good. There's three basic types of fee agreements. The first type is your contingency fee agreement. You're going to see these mostly in personal injury actions and civil rights claims, things of that nature. In a contingency fee agreement, you don't pay your attorney. The attorney only gets paid if you win. And when you do win, the attorney gets a certain percentage of whatever you win in the litigation. You're really not going to see too many contingency fee agreements outside of those areas that I've already told you about. But you may see contingency fees pop up as they're mixed with other types of attorney fee agreements that we are going to discuss a little further. The next type of fee agreement is the flat fee agreement. In this type of fee agreement, the attorney is going to charge one price to do everything that you need done. You're typically going to see this in document drafting or criminal defense cases. Typically, your criminal defense attorneys aren't going to want to risk trying to collect attorney's fees from someone who might end up in jail at the end of the litigation process. So you're going to see a lot of flat fee agreements in that context. This is another type that you're going to see mixed with other types of fee agreements when you get into the various forms of fee agreements that you can negotiate. The final basic type of fee agreement is going to be your hourly fee agreement. This is the type of fee agreement that most of us are used to. You're going to see this pretty much everywhere, in every context. The attorney charges you a certain amount of money per hour for every hour that they spend working on your matter. You're going to see this everywhere that you don't see one of those other two types of fee agreements. But now we're going to get into the different ways that you can negotiate around these three basic types of fee agreements. The first hybrid type of fee agreement we're going to talk about is the mixed fee agreement. This is going to be a mix between a flat fee agreement and an hourly fee agreement. I typically use mixed fee agreements when I have certain types of documents that I'm going to draft, typically responses to demand letters, that I'm going to draft an initial document for a flat fee, and then I'm going to charge by the hour for the work that has to be done after I draft the document. So in terms of a response to a demand letter, that may include negotiating with the other side's attorney so that we can come to a settlement that both parties are comfortable with. A holdback fee agreement is one that begins to introduce kind of the concept of a contingency fee agreement into an hourly fee agreement. If your attorney typically charges by the hour and they charge, let's say, $100, then under the holdback fee agreement, your attorney would still charge the $100 an hour, but you would only be responsible for a percentage of it. So if the holdback fee was for 50%, you'd only be responsible for paying 50% or $50 of the $100 that your attorney charges you. The remainder of the holdback fee, that additional $50, you would hold on to, and you wouldn't owe it until your attorney successfully completes the matter. Now, if you lose in litigation or if you hired your attorney to close on a parcel of land and they fail to actually see that through to completion, you don't owe what you're holding back from the attorney. You only owe it when success has been achieved. Now, it's very important that on a holdback fee agreement, the agreement defines what success means. It may be settlement, it may be winning in litigation, it may be winning a certain dollar amount. Success could be defined any number of ways, but it's imperative that you define what success means. Another type of fee agreement is the phased fee agreement. This is going to kind of be a fixed fee, but that is only paid in phases as opposed to being paid all up front. You can see these in large transactional matters. You can also see these in certain types of litigation matters. Under this type of fee agreement, you're going to pay a certain amount for the first phase of litigation. You're going to pay it all to your attorney. When that phase is completed, then you pay for the second phase of the agreement. When that phase is completed, then you pay for the final phase. What this does is it allows you to spread out the fixed fee over a period of time. It also makes it so that if at the end of phase one, you no longer want to pursue this litigation or pursue this transaction, you can cut it off right there, and you haven't given the entire flat fee to the attorney up front. In litigation, you're only going to find attorneys willing to enter phased fee agreements that are very proficient litigators. They have to have litigated a lot of matters in order to be able to have a handle on how much each phase of the litigation is going to cost them. Otherwise, they're not going to be willing to enter into a phased fee agreement with you. Now, the final named type of fee agreement that we're going to talk about is a little difficult to conceptualize. This is called the collared fee agreement. Under a collared fee agreement, you and the attorney are going to decide how much you think that this matter that the attorney is handling for you is worth. Let's say that dollar amount is $1,000. You and the attorney are then going to put a collar around that $1,000. The collar is typically going to be 10% more or 10% less. I've seen it go up to 15% more or 15% less. But the collar goes in both directions. So speaking in terms of the $1,000 matter, you're looking at a collar of, say, $100 in either direction. That's the zone that both parties feel comfortable being in. Somewhere between $900 and $1,100. As long as everybody's in that zone, at the end of this matter, then everybody's happy. But if we go outside of the zone, somebody's not happy. If we go too high, the attorney's happy, but you're not. If we go too low, you're happy, but the attorney's not. So what the collar does is say, as long as we're in this zone where everybody's happy, then my hourly fees are what you're going to pay. But if we go below where I'm happy as the attorney, then you have to pay 50%, it's usually 50% of the difference between $900 and wherever we ended up at. So if we ended up at $700 and our collar is at $900, you would have to pay an additional $100 to the attorney, which is half the difference. Now, if we end up at $1,500 and the collar maximum is at $1,100, then the attorney does everything from $1,100 to $1,500 at half their rate. They're essentially giving you half the difference. So a collared fee agreement kind of puts the risk of the wrong guess as far as how much this is going to cost in both parties' mitigation. Both parties are mitigating their risk of the wrong guess. Now, the goal in all types of fee agreements is for everybody to be working toward the same thing. You want everyone's interests aligned. And that's the problem that most clients have with a dollar per hour fee agreement. My interest as the attorney is to bill as many hours as possible because I'm going to get paid for every hour I bill. Your interest is for your attorney to achieve success while billing the fewest number of hours. So all of these different types of fee agreements that can exist outside of the realm of a straight dollar per hour fee agreement are your attempts to get your interests aligned with those of your attorney. Even though those are the named agreements, the ones that we've already talked about, there are so many ways that you can do this. You can negotiate for pretty much anything you want, and as long as your attorney is comfortable with it, then you all can come to an agreement. So that's the idea. You can get high quality legal representation at a rate that's affordable to you and that helps mitigate your risk long term. I hope that I have imparted that to you in this video. Again, my name is Nathan Saunders. This is The Legal Good, and I'm out.